What's good in the hood? In today's video, I'm going to be doing a tier list breaking down my ranking of who I feel the most sadness and sorrow towards in 2026. It's going to go from the bottom, which is concerned, all the way up to hosting a funeral for them. Without further ado, let's jump into it. And if you enjoy this video, drop a like and a comment below. Starting it off with, no, I actually don't feel bad for Carol Harrison. Sure, she got neck surgery, but she still seems to be able to eventually fight for Amanda Nunes. I actually feel bad for the division as a whole. I feel bad for any of the bantamweights that aren't named Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. I also don't feel bad for Norma Dumont due to her cakeness, but I regress. I feel bad for all these ladies because, let's be real, they got nothing going for them. This division's super top heavy, and it doesn't even feel like those two women are going to be around a while. Amanda Nunes is coming out of retirement, probably for a one-off fight. Kayla Harrison probably has one or two fights left before she, goes off in the sunset or takes a super fight with like Valentina. So I feel bad for that whole division. It's the weakest division. Nothing's close. But actually, there is something a little more close. I actually feel bad, not for this division, because this division's actually popping. There's a lot of people going on in this division, a lot of prospects rising. I feel bad for Mackenzie Dern because she finally did the unthinkable. She got I don't want to say a free pass, but, she got a good layup to getting that undisputed championship. And then lo and behold, the woman that was rightfully the one holding it, Zhang Wei Li, is now returning most likely to that division after failing to defeat Valentina. And I don't think anyone's going to give Mackenzie Dern a fighting chance to beat Zhang Wei Li. There's just no chance. And it feels terrible because, UFC is probably happy to have, this kind of champion, and I support it too. But yeah, it feels like she has the biggest threat looming and the most danger to losing her belt in 2026, and it's not even close. Moving on. Patty the Baddie. I honestly just feel bad by the fact that, and I put him in concern. I think he's the definition of concern because I think he's going to come back. He's going to get a good win or two later this year, and we're going to forget about, just how rough his performance is against Justin Gaethje. Eye pokes, all that aside, he had the most to lose in the sense that he had a super fight with Ilya Topuria. If he had beaten Justin, he would have had the belt. And now he has to win another fight. And that division lightweight is pretty damn top heavy. So, yeah, it was a big stock drop for him. I don't think it kills his star power. I don't think it makes him feel like, a bust. But, yeah, it was definitely rough, at the start of the year. But he's got a year to make up, so we're rooting for him. All right, moving on to the pity category. Pity. And this is Gerald Almeida, but this honestly represents all the UFC fighters that have been cut so far that probably shouldn't have been cut, but they were cut regardless. He's just the poster boy for this because he was ranked. He was, top 6, top 7 in the heavyweight division, one of the weakest divisions, no less. And he got cut. He was on a 2-fight losing streak, sure, but they weren't like he was getting finished. And before that, he had some good wins. So I feel bad because, at the end of the day, he was not the most exciting fighter, but every fighter doesn't have to be exciting. You do need to have these guys out there for the exciting fighters to beat and to have competitive fights with. I think Alex Volkov, the Russian. The point being is, it's a necessary evil that you have to have these kind of guys because that's just the nature of the sport. And he got cut. And sure, it's a business and they can cut you if you're on a 2-fight losing streak. But I don't know. I think most people can agree that anyone else, they shouldn't have been cut, but he got cut and it is what it is. All right, Ankalaev. This guy's, and I made a video on this, so go check out my channel before. Just with the rumors going around with the light heavyweight and the heavyweight division, Ankalaev is just the odd man out. And if we're going off just pure MMA math, he won a 50-45, we'll say, against Pereira, won the belt. And then he lost Pereira by finish. You would think, let's do a trilogy to, determine who's the better of the two fighters. One guy dominated for 25 minutes. The other guy got a finish in under 2 minutes. Who's the better fighter? We're not going to find that out. Pereira's, so much ahead of him on the totem pole when it comes to just business that Ankalaev is just, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know if he's going to actually seriously move up to heavyweight. Is he going to hopefully wait and try to get that vacay belt? I have no idea, but he's in a tough standstill. And I assume he's probably pretty much ready after Ramadan to get back into it, but it is what it is. All right, bonus one. Dan Hooker. I'm not trying to be that guy that loves rumors, and, you know, we won't know the full extent of this, but I mean, it's a mix of nasty slanderous rumors to, really establish that last name Hooker being a true hooker. But also just the fact that he's on a back-to-back losing streak, and he really, really had a bad start to 2026 with his loss to Benoit Saint Denis. He got beat up. Not to mention, he's going to qualify for what, top 5, top 10 worst stoppages, late stoppages so far. He took a lot of damage, and he was kind of on the cusp of potentially being in title picture, deserving or otherwise. And he lost Armand, and on top of this, like I said, he lost to another upper contender, and it just feels like he's just going to be a perennial gatekeeper for the time being. It is what it is, but we have to move on. All right, moving on. These boys that I'm really upset for, but you really can't do anything about it. I'm gonna actually put them up together because they're kind of sharing the same story. And so JDM and DDP, these were both men that won undisputed gold while being undefeated in the UFC. I don't think it's not as uncommon as is, actually I don't know the statistic, but I think it's still pretty it's impressive, but it's kind of rare to see a guy that, goes 7-0, 8-0, and then they get the belt. And both these men did it. And lo and behold, they both get 50-44, 50-43 in the same year, 2025, and against guys that are so high up when it comes to not just the pound for pound, not just for business. Hamzat and Islam are just, they're top 5, top 6 just in the whole company across the board. So, and the fact that these guys got finished or just dominated so badly, they are just in such a far position to getting rematches. And yeah, it sucks because, like I said, they both only have one loss since the champion, and they're both still number 1 contenders in their given, or number 1 rankings in their given divisions. And it feels like they're going to have to just wait until either in the case of JDM, he's going to have to wait till Islam probably just retires. And in the case of DDP, he's going to have to probably wait until later in the year when Chimaev decides to move up. So it sucks because they're just going to have to take fights in the meantime, which they should. But it feels like these fights are kind of meaningless until the division kind of shakes itself out. Whew, as I'm gassing out. Moving on. He's overdone. He's overexposed, but it is what it is. You have to cry for him. I was a fan when he came to UFC and, finished 30 Dan Hooker in under a round and got to fight for the belt, no less, against Charlie Olives. I just feel bad because, this is a guy that he's wasted so much on his career, and then he finally comes back and he loses to Patty and Charles in back-to-back losses, so he kills his chance to even get to the belt. And now he's calling out, and again, you go check my channel out because I put him on there too. I was like, he's still calling out Conor, that's the sad part. But on top of this, now he's trying to loop himself into the BMF belt. He's saying he'd like to fight Charles or Max. Well, I don't think it would make it, even though he says he can beat, Charles 9 out of 10 times after being 0-2. He says he would love to fight Max. I'm like, why the hell would Max want to fight you, brother? Like, you were living in a fantasy land. Why the hell would Max ever want to fight you when Max is very arguably close to getting a rematch with Ilya at the lightweight and getting that double champ status if he wins? Chandler's just got to, I think, accept the reality that he is a big name, but he's losing stock rapidly, and he needs to just get a win. He needs to get a finish just to, not just for the UFC's sake, but for the fans' sake. Like I said, I was a fan of him, and I just don't have a recent memory that's like, whoa, like that's all. Even the Patty fight, like he was pretty bland in that fight for the most part, and then he got finished pretty bad. So, all right, moving on. Oh boy, Tommy Aspinall. We've obviously had some champs that have had injuries, this and that, and over the years, champs that have had issues, but like, I think his is just the one that, just due to the fact of social media, he's getting scrutinized so much. You got guys like M.A. Joey and all that. They're just tearing this man's ass open, pretty much calling him a fraud, which, as you can tell, I'm blind. I'm blind as hell. So, like, I can relate to the eye injuries and all this stuff. And, like, I could only imagine wanting to get into a fight camp knowing you're not 100% on the visual standpoint. But I mean, it just stinks because like he was going to be the savior to, like I said, probably the second weakest division in all of UFC, third weakest. We'll include two of the women's divisions, but yeah, he's the weakest men's division by far. But it just felt like he was on such a good run, man. Like, was it a year and a half ago before his wasted of potential John Jones? It was just like he was on such a good run. He finished everyone like under a round. He just felt like he was gonna have a long, lengthy, like defend twice a year and just build that credibility up and just create a legacy. And now it's just all thrown into, haywire with the fact that he gets eye poked. It looked bad. It's hard to say how bad it is afterwards because we've seen other guys get eye poked and fight within 3 to 6 months. He has to get surgery, and he's still saying he's got issues that are persisting where he can't fully train. So it's like, oh my God, like, I don't know. I pray to God that this guy can fight by, it would be good justice too if maybe like he gets to return at like Madison Square Garden in November. That would be nice, right the wrong, beat Cyril Gane, or maybe even fight Pereira at that point. That would be nice, but it's hard to say. I mean, with medical injuries and all that. All right, moving on. This is the embodiment of me, the white simp incel UFC fan. But no, this one's weird because I'm going to go into an attack on Paramount. I feel bad for the UFC fans, myself now experiencing it, because, if you're a good soldier and you're actually using Paramount Plus, you're not doing those stinky streams. And I can't talk about the streams because I don't use them. But, I mean, the experience watching number of events, no less, is a lot more shitty for the viewing experience. And it all just stems from the fact that we're experiencing ads now, which was a given, just, the discount. You're not paying the $80 for, a dud pay-per-view. We must pay, was it $12 a month, $18 a month? But I mean, goddamn, bro, like when you have to watch ads on walkouts, when you have to watch ads for corner work, and like I said, if you're a decent fan, you like to watch that stuff, especially when there's a war and you actually want to hear what the fan or like what the coach is trying to say. I want to hear what Eric Nixon saying to Sean Strickland. I want to see a coach fire a guy up like what they did with Leon Edwards. Like, and you're telling me now that can get cut out because they're not in the main event, so you're restricted with ads. Like, come on. And walkouts, like I said, there's still some really good walkouts below the main and all that. And like to have to cut the music out and not be able to see anything, like, come on, bro. Like, I don't care about banking and protein and God knows what else they're advertising. I don't care about crypto. Like, I want to fight. And I'll actually throw my 2 cents on this. I will happily, kind of like how I do with YouTube already, I will happily pay a little extra to get ad free, at least on the number of events. Like, Paramount should just do that. Like, I don't know what the trade-off is on loss of ads versus extra money per month on a subscription, but I will happily do that. All right, moving on. Oh, jeez, I'm like getting upset just looking at this, man. This guy was like so exciting to watch. And now with Islam at the helm of welterweight, it felt like that would have been such a cool fight to watch. And we don't get it. We just don't get it. And we don't even get to see this guy probably for the whole year now. He tweaked his ACL or something, the same knee that Ian Gary ruined in their fight. Was it almost a year ago now? Over a year ago now? That same knee that he got surgery on gave out, or he overtrained it, whatever it was. It's gone. He's back in a brace, and I don't know the exact details on it, but it sounds like he's going to be out, another 6 to 9 months? Not to mention then you have to actually get back into training, so it's really a year plus. So we might not see him for the whole year. At that point, he's out of the rankings too. Like, the reality is he's going to come back and there's going to be a completely new division, and he's going to have to win at least probably 2 fights unless he gets a convincing fight against like a top tier guy. He is just gone from the division, and it felt like he was the dark horse of it. The division's already popping, so it's not like the welterweight division needs him, but we wanted him. And we wanted that matchup. Him versus Islam, I thought was going to be a very exciting match, and it got taken away from us. The MMA gods screwed us over. This guy might never be the same, and let's be real, I feel like a knee injury, it's going to fuck him over when it comes to, when he has to fight a grappler, this, that, like, I don't know. Not to mention, I feel like Ian Gary would just kick that thing again. I hate Ian Gary. All right, last, but certainly not least, and it pains me to put this here because I've really grown on this man. I mean, I've always liked him before, and I was excited for his rematch with Islam. But I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I'm conflicted too, because I'm not opposed to Justin fighting Ilya, because I think Justin's top 3, top 2, even now, most exciting fighters. I'll still put my boy Yuri Prohashka ahead of him. But I mean, this guy, Arman, he's the number 1 contender. He's arguably the second best in the division. He seems to have, in my opinion, a good favorable matchup with his wrestling and all that to potentially cause some issues with Ilya. And yeah, like he did what he needed to do to at least get back into the good graces with Dana. He got his win. Supposedly made, well, not supposedly, he did make way as a backup last summer. Like I said, he got a win against Dan Hooker. He did it nearly as good as you needed to do it. Looked really fresh and good and all that. Like just his general game looked good. And yeah, they essentially just said, like, you're screwed, man. Like it was very unclear as to what his path back to the championship is. It wasn't like, oh, you need to beat one more guy. They didn't say any of that. Like Dana just was vague and just kind of shat on him. And it sucks because, like, it's not even if you're thinking the element of business. Like, yeah, he was bad for business in the past, but he's overall good for business. He's a popular name. He's growing on his character when it comes to all these internet tours and this. He's doing real American freestyle on the side. Like, he's doing everything I would recommend you do as a fighter that's not got a fight book to make sure you're gonna, draw more eyeballs when you do get to fight, which is naturally what UFC wants you to see. Not to mention, he's not a boring fighter. Yes, he's wrestling heavy, but he also strikes. He's had finishes. Like, I don't know. It's just bananas. And I feel like he's going to fall in the category, which is why I say we need a funeral for him. Because I'm afraid something's going to happen where, like, either Ilya's just going to disappear and he'll never get that fight, or he's going to lose to some random Joe Schmo as he continues to have to take these fights, or he's going to get hurt in, like, RAF or whatever it is, or he's just going to lose interest and think, like, I can go do tours with, Neon and fucking all that shit and do RAF and tours and whatever Chick-fil-A ads. And it's like, he's not going to, like, actively be pushing to get what he deserves as a title fight. It is what it is. But let me know in the comments below, and obviously like this video if you got any sort of entertainment out of it. Let me know in the comments below, who do you feel bad for in 2026? Is there anyone I missed? And let me know, is there any turnaround for any of these fellas? Obviously, some of them are lost causes. Jalta Maeda, I think he's fighting like a Russian promotion, so he's probably a lost cause. We as fans are lost cause because Paramount's greedy and will probably continue to screw us with those damn ads. But yeah, let me know, and obviously shoot me a subscribe if you want to see more content later this week. Peace.